Okay guys, so today Sophie and I are going to be doing leg days. We're going to be doing a different leg day. I'm just starting off with some leg swings here. This is a really good way to warm up the hips and the adductors and hamstrings to give them a good dynamic stretch. I'm moving on to some prisoner squats here, where I'm keeping my back nice and straight and tight and just squatting through the hips nice and deep. So the first exercise today is the front squat. This has been my main exercise for a while now, the main kind of point of focus for a lot of my sessions, because I want to increase my quad strength, which will eventually transfer over to a bigger back squat for powerlifting. So at the moment I've been doing sets of 12 and been working on my technique. So when I started these about 2 months ago, I was on about 80 kg and doing about 8 reps. I worked this up to around 100 for 6 or 7 reps, and now I've come down in the reps, up in the reps to 12s. I am doing a heavier day as well, where I'm going to be doing sets of 8 with knee sleeves and a belt on.
So here is my first exercise of this posterior chain day, which is staggered stance hack squat good mornings. So the purpose of this exercise is to isolate one side at a time. So what we want to do is put all of your body weight through the front leg and very little weight through the back leg. We're keeping the back nice and straight on the way down and pushing the hips right back so we can get a nice stretch in the hamstrings and the glutes.
So this is the single leg press. I'm doing this because I wanted to do some variation of a split squat or single leg unilateral exercise in the program. But the reason I'm doing this one and not, for instance, the split squats is because my sessions were particularly long, especially with the front squats. I was getting quite a lot of fatigue and I just really couldn't handle doing something like, let's say, Bulgarian split squats. So this was a good alternative. The key thing with this movement is you need to make sure you do a consistent range of motion. It's quite easy to start cheating your reps, especially as you throw on more weight. Best way to do this is to find a spot on the leg press that you can focus on bringing it down to, and then you repeat that every time. So bring it down to a certain spot and then bring it back up. You can mark it even with like some tape or something if you really need to, but normally there's things like bolts or other markers on the leg press that you can use. It is also a good idea to start with your weak leg first, because this ensures that you're not just always going in with the stronger leg and then by the time you get to your other leg you're getting really tired. And this will even any imbalances out over time, so do start with your weak leg first. One last thing on this one is that you can see my range of motion on my left leg wasn't actually as good as my right, so this is something I need to work on over time.
So in a continuation to make my training more unilateral, I'm continuing with the split stance approach to a lot of my exercises. So here we have the single leg Romanian dumbbell deadlift. So we're making sure we get a nice range of motion on the front leg in this movement. You also want to keep your torso straight so your shoulders are in line with your hips.
So guys, this is the single leg extension. The reason I'm doing single leg is because I'm doing a lighter day and a heavier day, and on the lighter day I can focus a bit more on the contraction and the individual muscle, and on the heavier day I've been going a bit more for power. So yeah, the main thing with this one, as you can see, I'm just focusing very carefully on the squeeze at the top and bringing it back down with some control, so I'm not rushing the reps. This is definitely going to help your overall quad development. Again, in a pretty intense squatting program, this is going to be a fairly low fatiguing exercise in terms of your nervous system, So this is another one you can put in when you're doing a lot of either heavy squats or high volume squats, which is going to be quite a lot of the time. So this sort of fit the 12 rep front squat day quite well. As the weeks go on, I will be bringing in some more exercises, especially as the volume comes down and the weight goes up, in the kind of 6 to 8 rep range on the compounds.
Hello and thank you for joining me on my third exercise. Here I'm doing barbell split squats. So I incorporated these to work on my stability and also correct my technique as well. So I started tucking my pelvis under in this movement to get more glute and quad activation, whereas before I was getting it a little bit more on my lower back, because my spinal erector can be quite dominant in this movement. So just making that small correction, I have got a lot stronger at this exercise over time. Sometimes all progress needs is just a small technique correction. So later on in my workout I did some more accessory work. So here I'm doing the hamstring curl for my hamstring isolation exercises, and I also go on to my glute focused back extensions. So the key to this is squeezing the glutes hard at the top, pushing your hips into the pad whilst keeping your upper back rounded. As you can see, I've added in some resistance here, so I'm using a kettlebell, but this exercise is effective with or without weight. But obviously if you want to see progress going on week by week, you want to progressively overload the movement so that you can see improvement. Guys, thank you for watching our video. Hope you enjoyed it.
And give some of the exercises we did a try.
And don't forget to like and subscribe.